Hello and welcome, and this time I will be reading from the Ladybird book of dating. Dating is a fun way of meeting somebody who is as terrified of dying alone as you are. Finding this person takes time. Cupid's arrows can strike when you least expect. Angie has been struck by Cupid's arrows and is going to live happily ever after. Lonely people know the one is out there somewhere. They will search the whole world for them. It is surprising how often that soulmate turns out to not be on the other side of the world, but fairly nearby and reasonably drunk. The perfect match. Men's brains and women's brains are different even as children. Boys like to knock a hobble hoop off of an after eight with a cocktail stick. Girls prefer balancing a first-class stamp on top of a Mr. Man's bowler hat. To get along, men and women pretend not to mind these little differences, or they become homosexuals. Finding time for love is hard because modern people have busy lives. Pat runs an aristocratic maroon business. She has been very busy. One day she notices she has forgotten to get married and still sleeps on a mattress on the floor. Time is running out for Pat. Dating is all about meeting new people. Alex spends the whole day at work. Once an hour, he meets the same person. His supervisor, Tim. Tim asks Alex how many funnels there are now. Alex tells him. Alex gets home late and falls asleep in front of a panorama about vans. Alex does not meet new people. Deborah has had many, many unsuccessful dates in the last 8 years, and still cannot find Mr. Right. Her friends tell her she should lower her expectations. Deborah is trying her very best. She still would prefer her dream man to have wings or a crown, but he no longer needs to be literally made of gold. Getting ready is part of the date. Michelle's friend Alicia has been doing Michelle's hair since Wednesday. Michelle's date, Chris, is still at home. He has prepared by doing up most of his buttons on his shirt and tidying his fringe with spikes. He is finishing a marathon on Call of Duty and will be 20 minutes late. Vanessa is meeting Columbia for their first date. To help spot each other, Columbia and Vanessa have both agreed to wear red. Columbia said he would wear his uniform from work. Vanessa was very excited. She thought that Columbia might be a guardsman. Lynn has come to a record discotheque. She is hoping to meet a new person to spend the rest of her life with again. The loud music makes the new people impossible to talk to. Luckily, alcohol means what they are saying is unlikely to be important or interesting. 400 times lucky, thinks Lynn. Bernard and Jill are online friends who have finally met. They know they have a lot in common and are going for a walk. All Bernard can think about is checking his telephone. All Jill can think about is how she is getting to describe this date in 140 characters later when she goes to the toilet. Bernard and Jill suspect that in real life they are simply awful people. Andrew has said fewer than 11 words during his date with Lionel. Lionel eats quickly. I should be going, says Lionel. Don't go, says Andrew. This is the best date I've had all year. But my plate is empty, says Lionel. Finish the salt, then we can go, says Andrew. Lionel and Andrew eat the salt. Vernon is on a first date with Frances. He has chosen a venue he frequents regularly where he feels comfortable and can be himself. Because Vernon is relaxed, Frances is relaxed too. The date is going well. Frances is glad they did not go to the Witherspoons. Phil has arranged to meet Annabelle in a basement wine bar. The bar is hot and Phil is not used to drinking red wine. His shirt was off before the pistachio arrived, and he has changed the waiter to a sword fight. Annabelle is going to give it half an hour and call a cab. It might be only a one-night stand, but there is still room for romance. Georgie has spent the night in a public bomb shelter with Pam. In the morning, he surprises her with a cup of tea. And a bunch of forget-me-nots in Posita. Marconi and Tanner are on a date. They both can enjoy buying a new calendar. They both love dates and also love dates. Marconi and Tanner are calendar buffs. They meet at a local calendar club and have a lot in common. The only argument is over which date they are going to pick for their next date, because they love them all. Natalie is moving into Owen's flat. Communication makes Owen nervous. One step at a time, says Natalie. At the garden centre, Natalie suggests buying a lawn ornament to make their new life as a couple. This one looks nice, says Natalie. David and Penelope are buying a jar of lemon curd, which they plan to eat this evening over a game of Hagrid hops. My girlfriend will pay, says David. Penelope smiles. David has never called her his girlfriend before. The grocer smiles too. Look at my girlfriend. Like that again, says David, and I'll break your legs. Rebecca is meeting Ian for their 5th date, but Ian has not come. Rebecca is sad. Ian sent a text message instead. He says he is under too much pressure from Rebecca, who is calling him every day. Rebecca thinks this is a lucky escape. Every day is 2 words. Frank divorced 3 years ago. Frank's friend George says Frank should start dating again. Frank is out of practice. He does not like where George goes to meet partners. This place is a cattle market, says Frank. George says Frank is not seeing the practicality. George goes off with an article here last week. Muriel and Fiona have had their dates. Fiona knows this means she will either end up spending the rest of her life with Mario or eventually have to break up with him horribly. Both of these ideas are terrifying to Fiona. Tomorrow Fiona will fake her own death and join Cirque du Soleil. Julianne is breaking up with Tommy. She knows a text message can be impossible, so she has come to her local post office. The lady at the counter checks Julianne's envelope. is sealed if any of the faces leak out. The post office is not obliged to carry it. Julianne sends her package by recorded delivery. She can make sure it has reached Tony and knows she is single again. In another country, dating is very different. Bolon has 4 good beetroot fields. Yelsi and Lovely have claimed him. This evening, the women will fight to the death using traditional hammers. In the morning, the winner will marry, mate with, and eat polong. In the future, dating may be very different. Zachary is off welding the date for a new relationship onto his leisure cloud to enjoy later. He has chosen an e-dinner with his administrator Avalon. Here is in the year 4000, workplace romance is forbidden, but Elon and Zachary Amires can marry as long as they have a 5-star user rating. It is Bernie and Leaf's wedding day. They have certainly come a long way from their first date. They have learnt to suspect their personalities and pretend they want the same thing, so they will be able to put up with each other for several years. Everyone is happy for them. Their story is over.